Hey everyone, I'm doing a short live. I got a lot of requests for how to handle the holidays, how to handle this time of year when you are together with a lot of family, and it can be very difficult and stressful and unenjoyable. So I'm just going to give you guys some pointers about how you can manage your feelings and manage more specifically like difficult family. And even if like generally you get along with your family pretty well, when you're together for that long, by the end you don't even want to be related. So I just wanted to give you guys some pointers how to get through the holiday and not lose your mind. So the first point that I think is the most important point is to give up hope. And when I say that, I mean a lot of the time when we go into the holidays, we're like hoping that it'll be peaceful, our family will get along, our mom won't be annoying, our sister and her kids, will be like normal and everyone will get along. We kind of like set ourselves up to have like these expectations of our family that really they can't perform. Like that's just not who they are. So if we acknowledge what they're actually like and we work on accepting that, that makes it much easier for us to handle being with our family. So instead of going into Pesach and being like, I really hope this year at the Seder, like they're not telling perverted jokes, or like there's not 700 Divrei Torah and it's fun for my kids. Like if you know that your family is not capable of doing things the way that you want, because history shows you that they're not going to, and they're not going to change no matter what you do. Hi everyone who's joining, then you'll be happier. If you just come prepared to accept them as they are, it'll be easier for you. So you know already what's up, what it's gonna be like. Just accept that. Don't try to hope that it's going to be different. And then if it is different, you can be pleasantly surprised. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that, and you know that I'm very into this, set up boundaries, right? So how much contact do you want to have? So do you have to go for the whole holiday? If not, don't. Do you have to have Seders with your family? You want to do your own at home with your family and then go second days or whatever it is, or do that, right? So set up your boundaries. Decide when you're going to be there, for how long. Is it realistic that you have to be together all 8 days? Can you break up the holiday? Can you, do you have to go, the holiday starts Friday night, do you have to be there Friday morning, or can you get there a little bit closer to when the holiday starts so that it's not full days, nonstop, right? So really creating boundaries and like knowing how much time you can really stand with your family, and knowing that in between you should plan stuff. So if you're in a neighborhood where you know that you have friends that come to visit their parents or whatever it is, make plans to get together with a friend after a meal, to have your kids play with their kids, or to go visit or whatever, to get out, take a walk. Thank God, right? If you're staying home in a not so warm climate, it will be nicer this year because we're at the end of April, so you can get out. You shouldn't be stuck inside. Take a walk, just like take a breather. And it works out so nicely that it's just like 2 days, not long. So really just take advantage of being able to get out and take breaks from family time and kind of like rejuvenate yourself and breathe and be a little bit mindful. And then you come back and it's conversation. Oh, I went to visit Sari and it was so nice. And, then it's like we can stay away from discussions about how much weight I've gained, or how you can't believe I'm still single, or why your kids act like that. Then it's a distraction, a different discussion. Lose control, right? This is a big one also. Any attempt to control people puts you under their control. So if you keep trying to change them, and you can't be happy until your mother treats your kids nicely, until she stops talking about how they eat and how they behave, her dysfunction is running your life. You're at a loss, right? So you have to kind of just give that up and not be so stuck on like, my mom has to act normal, or my dad has to, talk nicely, or my brothers have to be this, or my sisters have to be that. Let it go. And Melody Beattie, she's a very famous codependency author. She has a quote that I wrote here. She says, unhook from their systems by refusing to try to control them. So don't violate your values, but also don't try to make others violate theirs. Don't try to change people. You stay attached and hooked to them if you are like constantly trying to change them and constantly trying to make them see your way and understand why you're right. Don't have that fight. It's not worth it. Don't expect them to change. And if they do, you can be pleasantly surprised. But only you have the ability to respond to injury by seeking cures instead of fostering pain. So if you feel hurt by the way they behave, or you don't like how they talk to you, or whatever, you have the ability to change your mindset, to ignore, to walk away, to tell yourself, you know what, it's only one more day, like I'm just going to ignore this, and I'm not even bothering to fight about it. Except that you can only control your own thoughts and actions. That's very important, that you know that you cannot change the way your family speaks and acts and behaves, and that weird cousin and that strange uncle, they're not changing. Only you can change. And then the final thing, one of the final things is that you should debrief, right? So you can even debrief there while you're with your family. So if your brother gets it, he knows like the family is like, oh gosh, mom is this or that, you can talk to them after that meal that you survived, and you can laugh about it, and you can be like, how do we do this? Have that support. Or if you need, you can talk to your therapist after the holiday and debrief with them. But you have to learn to accept your family unconditionally. That's really like the biggest key for surviving this holiday, is reminding yourself that you cannot change your family. You can only change yourself. And refusing to accept that is refusing to bring about change. So really, you're in charge of being happy. So I think one of the ways to do that also is like when you get there, you remind yourself anything that comes out of anyone's mouth, like, it's not about me. You can have prepared answers. I think that's great. Like if your buddy is going to make a comment on like, I really wish you would give me grandchildren before I die, or, oh, did the kids always eat like that? It's disgusting. You should have a like canned answer ready, or no, I'm going to ignore when she says that. I'm just not going to talk to her. I'm not even going to like dignify that with a response. I'm just going to say, okay, Bobby, I'm so glad that we are together. You look great. Did you get your hair done? You're like not even going to acknowledge it. So you're going to have those answers prepared so that mentally you're ready. Know your triggers. Know what are the things that always come up every year that I always get angry about and I can't stand. How am I going to respond to it better this year? How am I either going to let it go, or I'm going to, say something? We don't have to, join every fight we're invited to. We can let things go. We can ignore. And then there will be things that you don't want to ignore and you want to address. But again, remember, this doesn't need to be family drama, fighting. It's just a couple of days. Maybe it's 8 days together. But again, if it's 8 days together, God bless you. That's really brave. But you'll take a lot of walks, right? And you'll make sure to take space, and you'll make sure to talk to other people. And, maybe bring a friend with. Like if you're coming home for the holidays and you have a friend who doesn't have somewhere to go, bring them with. Let them be your wingman. But remember also, again, going back to that piece about when they say things, remembering that it's not about you. Remember that sometimes when we get back together with our family, when we're in those settings, everybody reverts to those childhood roles that we have. And it's hard for our family to see us as who we are now as adults. And sometimes we even like subconsciously revert to that role as, what we were when we were a child, and we start feeling bad about ourselves, So you have to remember the way they treat you does not reflect who you are currently, and you have to try not to let it get under your skin. You could say, this isn't about me. It's not, it's about them. It's not about me. And I don't have to let this bother me. And you're going to practice mindfulness to make that happen. So you don't react in the moment. You take a deep breath. You walk away. You escape when you can. You plan responses in advance, right? Again, and reminding yourself that it's just a few days and that you will be okay. So that's in terms of like dealing with your family. And in terms of like Pesach prep, again, like if you are making Pesach at home, it happens to be I make Pesach in my house. And thank God for my amazing neighbor and friend. She coached me through it the first time I did it. And she broke it up for me to make it very simple and organized. So shout out to Beth. Love you. But just remember, like, you don't need to overdo it. Keep it simple. Keep your menu simple. Like, nobody wants to be eating a massive feast at 10 o'clock at night. You can just keep your, food to a minimum. Like, just make it as easy as possible. And I think that's the main thing, is to just not make yourself crazy And maybe even just remember, like last year I went nuts and I had so much leftovers and nobody ate. Like, I don't need to do that again this year, you know? So just keeping it simple for yourself, not setting up crazy expectations about how you need to like outdo the year before or impress everyone. You don't need to. Just be simple, be happy. You want to come to the Seder table happy. You want your family to enjoy being around you. You don't want to be moody and angry. You don't want to be fighting. You want this to be a positive time of year. So as much as possible, really try to make it simple for yourself. Try to prepare yourself mentally, again, with what to expect, how to respond, and take your time and really practice self-care. And I don't mean like go get a manicure before Pesach. I mean, think about what you need to get through this holiday. So I hope this was helpful. If anyone has any other questions, you can let me know. Yeah, I think that's it. And I do want to emphasize one more thing, that there's all this social pressure to like bond with your family on Pesach, right? Like whenever we have family get-togethers, Thanksgiving, you know, any kind of like holiday or Yontif, we're like, oh, you have to like love being with your family and like post all these amazing pictures like of all the people that you love. And if you don't feel that, like don't do it. Stay true to yourself, and you don't have to go there, you know? So just survive and do your best and smile and be happy. And when someone's like making that comment in your ear and you're like, oh my God, you're gonna remember Rachel, who's saying just breathe, ignore, don't respond, walk away, it's almost over, you got this. And then it's however many months until the next time you have to do this again, okay? So if you have any questions or things that I didn't address that you want to know about, let me know. I'm going to save this, and I'm also going to put it on my YouTube. But you got this. It'll be an amazing holiday. Good luck, guys.